Okay, guys and girls, thank you for tuning in to Optimize Your Body with myself, Martin Silva. And today I'm proud to announce I have my buddy Victor Gigliotti, from the founder, owner of Muscle Republic, which is a fantastic clothing brand here in Australia. How you doing, Vic?
Mate, I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me on board. Pleasure to be here tonight.
It's an absolute pleasure, mate. So, yeah, go on.
Oh, sorry, I do apologise for putting this off for quite some time. We've been trying to make this happen for a good 3 months now, I think.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. No, I appreciate that, man. You're an extremely busy guy, and you got a lot going on, and you live over the bridge as well. So, like, you're helping me out, man. I really do appreciate it. We're
an hour away in God's country, but yeah, I do like getting over here.
That's it.
Don't tell Mets that from Titan Fitness, but
he'll blow his head up, won't it?
No, it feels like a second home over here. I'm pretty privileged to call Mets a close friend.
Yep.
And to have such a good community such as the Titan Fitness family, and people like yourself that are supporting the brand. So forever grateful for that.
Great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Titan Fitness, guys and girls, is where I'm currently based as a personal trainer here in Sydney, and it's a fantastic gym. Great people here. So, yeah, let's rock and roll then, Vic. So I've got a question for you. The first question I was going to ask you was, now you're obviously extremely passionate about health and fitness.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you described to me your story before in terms of the fact that you've done bodybuilding competitions, and you've always been big into training, and it's something you're really, really driven about. So how did you manage to... what was the motivation behind starting up such a big, successful fitness clothing brand line? What was the motivation behind that, and what was the drivers?
Well, the first year I was committed to doing a competition was I couldn't find any clothes that fit me. And training twice a day, I was running out of gym clothes, so I was going to the department stores. And I couldn't find anything that I liked the fit of, so I decided to cut the sleeves off some old t-shirts. And spending a lot of time training, not partying, not going out, weekends became full of... I had a lot more time on my hands. Mm-hmm. So I decided to start using my creativity, and ended up fulfilling the goal of completing the competition, and rewarded myself by a trip to Bali for New Year's at the end of 2012.
Beautiful.
What then happened was we decided to buy my dog, who I'm extremely passionate about, and you probably met him.
Yes, I forgot his name. What's his name?
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown. He's the
we
man.
We call him the CEO.
Yeah, he is the CEO. He's the boss, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
You can tell the way he roams around the warehouse, mate. He's the boss.
He certainly is. But I think dogs bring an amazing energy and a raw heart, and I think that's what made a difference. He sort of changed my life, and it definitely made me want to become the best version of myself for him. Mm-hmm. And we decided that we were going to buy some dog jumpers. I found a place in Bali that made these dog jumpers, and bought him 6 jumpers. But they all were quite expensive. There was no price negotiation, so they were playing off the emotional spend. And on the way back, we bought some cheap singlets, a basketball singlet and a traditional bintang singlet from Bali. Mm-hmm. And they were quite cheap, and I said to my friend at the time, I said, I reckon I could make my own and sell them. Mm. And from cutting sleeves off my old T-shirts, I had a bit of a passion for it. And it was just meant to be a hobby. Mm. But what I found was, through doing the competition and the training and the gym experience, I started to, and the explosion of social media, I captured a lot. I basically found I had a lot more friends through the fitness industry from all walks of life that I'd met over the years in training different gyms, and they were inspired by me completing the competition and fulfilling my dream, and they said that they wanted to continue on their fitness journey because of it. And I realised that we became a community of people that were passionate about the gym, and it wasn't about being the biggest or the baddest or the most. It was about supporting one another. Mm. And I found that people's support really got me through that year. And I decided to encompass that in an apparel label, which I was passionate about making clothes, and just started that way. So we decided to form Muscle Republic. So
awesome.
Which basically meant muscle meant heart, and Republic means community, but that wouldn't have been a good name for a brand. So
yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about as well. Is the like the ethos and the character and stuff like that you have behind Muscle Republic is it's really great, I think. And like you obviously explained the journey then in terms of what drove you to get into it and your journey there. But what was it that made you kind of create the ethos? Give me an example of because I looked at the website briefly earlier.
Yeah,
you have like different statements and stuff which are really motivating.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
well, look, the main thing is that I sort of had undergone my own transformation, and what I realised was the more negativity I put out there, the more negativity used to come back and affect me. So, but what I realised was every time I helped someone, every time I was positive, every time I supported someone, that would come back to me. So I thought it's pretty clear the energy you emit, the energy you receive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the impact you make on other people's lives is the impact you will get back. And it's not about the money, it's not about the fame or anything like that. It's just about being the best version of myself. And I realised that it wasn't so much that being the strongest or the fittest. It was about what actually made the difference in everything that I overcame was that it came from inside. It was the energy to take the hit, keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I'm a massive Rocky fan, and
the
original name of the brand was Train for Today Gym Wear for about a month.
Okay,
and that was my motto for doing the comp. I said if I'm going to do something, I'm going to stop procrastinating. I'm going to just take action.
Yeah.
And train for today, then that'll lead to a result for tomorrow. So I realised by what we were doing was instilling value in myself, and then I wanted to instill value into others because someone helped me and they did it off the back of not expecting any return. And by doing that, by instilling value into others, they instill value into their world around them. And then what happened is that people were wearing the T-shirts and connecting with one another, just as the way I connected with someone in the gym when I was 16 years old. We were there to support one another on our fitness journey. And it's a never-ending journey, and I believe that's what we have in life.
Definitely, yeah.
So by supporting you by doing this podcast, you supported me by promoting the brand.
Yeah.
I think that authenticity and just being as real as you possibly can resonates with people.
Absolutely.
I'm not the most articulate or intelligent person, but I'm probably the most passionate when I'm doing what I love.
Yeah, definitely shows.
And it won't. Nothing can stop you when you're in that sort of zone. So, and I believe that there is an inner power inside of all of us. And I've overcome a lot of challenges, and we're still going through more challenges as we grow and expand and everything else. But I welcome the challenges now because I see them as an opportunity to expand, grow, become more, and then that'll lead my team, lead my brand. So yeah, it's I guess the motto is real muscle is heart, and it's for people to look inside themselves and know that they do have what it takes. There is no excuse.
Awesome. And speaking of challenges, we just had a brief discussion off air then. Yeah. And you were saying, it hasn't been, obviously, that is, obviously I had you on the podcast because, Muscle Republic, I'm a massive fan of, but I admire the character and the determination it takes to, as you say, take the hit, keep coming back.
Definitely.
The hardships and the setbacks. What would you say, because you said 2016 was a really rocky year.
Absolutely.
That was a you said one of the most significant years as far as the challenges and stuff go. What are the biggest challenges and obstacles you faced along your journey, Vic?
So, with an apparel business, what I realised over the years is that manufacturing is quite a big challenge. We don't just buy product off the shelf. We have a designer, and from day dot, I've always created the product from scratch. Now, as we expanded our range, we have a complete ladies range, complete men's range, accessories. We're forever trying to grow the brand and the product range. We don't want to be like everybody else. So we do start with a design, then we turn that into a concept, into a tech pack, into a sample. Now, samples can take forever. They can be one sample, get it right. You can go through 10 samples before you perfect it. Then we look at fabrics. So we've moved manufacturing from originally just printing T-shirts in Australia to like blank t-shirts, to moving to Bangladesh. Then we moved to China. We've moved manufacturers within China. We separated our production between two different manufacturers for different style of products. I've been to both Bangladesh and China on my own.
I recall you saying on the journey, that's why it sprung to mind, and I remember
absolutely
you had some ups and downs there. Yeah.
You don't have to know all the answers, but you have to at least try.
Yeah.
And I use Google for a lot. I research. I watch YouTube. I'm forever trying to learn more and more about the industry. But then learning how to delegate to the right people as we do grow.
For sure.
So we do have a full-time fashion designer now who has got over 30 years experience. So manufacturing is quite a challenge. Obviously apparel is a volume-based business. So you've got to be able to scale up. But in order to scale, you need the right systems and procedures and infrastructure. So originally we started from my bedroom. I moved that to my parents' garage. We moved to a warehouse facility 2 years ago. We've encountered challenges with shipping. Operations is a huge part of our business, obviously, because we hold so much stock, so many different SKUs, sizes, colours. Managing that process, and also the accounting side of the business is challenging too. It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
But it's no good to put your hands up and say it's too hard or too difficult. If someone's done it before us, they leave clues for success. So I try and follow people that have done something at a bigger scale. Nike's, Under Armour's, they will tell their story. They started this the same way that we did as well. But it's a technological world now, so everything has a new software or an app.
Yeah, exactly.
Website and online store is probably one of the biggest hurdles that we've overcome. We spent 3 years with websites that didn't work at all, that would crash, weren't able to hold the volume of traffic that we were getting. We moved last September to a brand new Shopify site, and it's absolutely amazing. So
great.
But yeah, it's you'll encounter a challenge, but if you put the right energy out there, the answer will come to you. Whether the person that needs to help you, you'll find them through putting out, sort of at least asking for help. Yeah. Learning to ask for help has been a big thing too. But
I love that. And what you mentioned about value as well, isn't it? Giving value. A lot of people nowadays, they expect just to, put a little bit of work in, start getting paid a lot of money straight away, and then it's all about, they kind of get sucked into the, chasing the paper. But it's all about, like you said, you're passionate about what you do. And what I wanted to mention was what you just discussed about, the discipline that you picked up and you applied whilst preparing for your competitions. And I've been on that journey myself, and how you managed to apply that into Muscle Republic, and kind of learning from the hardships along the way and whatnot. But how do you? Because one of the main reasons I created this podcast is because I'm trying to create as much balance as I can in my life. I've created a really healthy lifestyle, and now I'm trying to benefit others with that. But anyway, how do you manage to find balance, and obviously getting enough sleep? You work out. I'm looking at you now, and you keep yourself in shape all year round. I've never seen you out of shape. And you're juggling pretty big business, all by yourself. I know you've got some people working for you, but you're the man in charge. So how do you actually manage to create balance? Because you said you still train in the mornings first thing, you always get your training. How do you manage to do that, mate?
It's easy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think people overcomplicate it. I just worked out what's important.
Okay.
So my business is important, my family, my real friends, and my dog.
Yeah, Charlie, he's the man, isn't he?
Yeah, so I found by what I learned through doing bodybuilding was it's routine. And everyone thinks that there's a magic secret, and there isn't. It's literally, one of my favourite mentors is a guy called Andy Fazella, who I think I mentioned to you.
Yeah, you did.
From a company called First Form, and he talks about the power list, and it's broken down into just setting a goal, breaking it down, reverse engineering it, and setting 5 goals every day to get them done. If you can't do 5 things in a day, then you just might as well give up and go work for someone. So what I found was I used to overwhelm myself, and I thought about how I was always wanting to do a bodybuilding comp, when I was young, and I always had an excuse that there was a party, there was something I had to go for a drink for, or it was too difficult, I couldn't diet, and I think that was bullshit, basically. So at the beginning of that year, I said in September, if I'm going to get on stage in my Speedos, in my trunks,
yes, I know the feeling.
and social media's everywhere, I want to make sure that I
bring
do
your best.
Yeah, so...
Absolutely.
I didn't even know what I was doing. I had a friend help me that year. We had no idea, but we just went after it. We trained every morning at 5:30 and every afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, no stones unturned, didn't it?
No, and we didn't know about diet. And we were trying to eat veggies and chicken and tuna, and we thought that was the right thing, and not weighing the food. And but what's happening is that I put the sort of energy out there to ask for help, and a guy helped me called Evan Godby at the time with my diet. A bodybuilder, and we started to learn, so the more passionate we became about something, we learned. So I feel like what I did is I put routine, it's the monotonous routine, and it's literally, if you don't have the passion, you will become undone somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
So trying to pretend that you want to do something for the fame or the money of it, or there's too many challenges that are going to try and beat you down and keep you down. But basically I follow a morning routine. So I get up at sort of 5 o'clock every morning. I pray every morning. I'm not big on religion, but big on faith.
Okay.
And I find what that does is it puts me in the right headspace and the right energy. Because if you hold something inside your heart, it'll actually come across when you enter the world through the day, and you'll put that towards the challenge that you're encountering at the time, and it'll actually become detrimental, and you'll stumble. Yeah. So I found Met's actually taught me something since we've been friends, and it's to put everything in perspective. Yeah. And think of the things that we were always worried about; they never come true, right? Yeah, that's right. Think of the challenge that you're going through at the time. There's always a way around it. Just got to feed it the right energy. You got to sleep on it sometimes. Sometimes we go through big challenges financially. I've had stock land that wasn't right. We couldn't sell it. I've had to throw stock out. I couldn't even offload it to a homeless shelter. It was that bad. That's it. And at the time, I thought I was going to crumble, but we got through it. You get through it, don't you? Yeah. At the time, I can't imagine the emotions get involved, and you think it's just a catastrophe, and then you pull through it, and then now you just set off here again. From what happened in 2016, all the setbacks you had, now it's like right now you're going through a little bit of a obstacle. Absolutely. Yeah. And now 100%. that's benefit. It's hardened you, I guess, and conditioned you. It conditions you, and you realise you can get over anything with the right energy. Yeah. But look, it's routine. It's having systems and procedures in place, and just like we do in bodybuilding, you eat at a certain time, you eat X amount. You measure, you go back and you see what worked, what didn't work. Exactly. Trial and error. Yeah, but basically I pray in the morning, I do visualization, I wake up and do some gratitude exercises, then I walk. I walk for an hour with the dog. Cool. And I find that walking, I didn't realise it when I was doing my comp, and I still do it now. That's why I've obviously love my dog so much, but the reason is because he got me moving again. And what happens if you just... sitting still, that's where you die. Yeah, definitely. You've got to get up. It's like anyone on their fitness journey wanting to lose weight, put weight on, or whatever it is. 100%. You've got to get started. You just got to keep moving. And the walking is sort of a representation of that sort of movement that you've just... I feel like it releases an energy in me, and I think while I walk. I listen to my podcasts. And that's another thing, listening to podcasts, feeding your mind with the right energy. Exactly. I read books now. Met's, same. I'm back on it. Yeah, Met's got me reading books. Yeah, he's all over it. Met's is at the moment. Mate, fair play. The guy's on fire. But what happens is when you surround yourself with the right people, it makes you elevate, or it brings you back. It'll take you backwards. Absolutely. So it could be make or break, isn't it? It's like I think there's a saying: your true net worth is your net circle. So it's like. Obviously, it's not all about money, but it's just a statement. It's just to say, if you want to be successful, you want to keep pushing forward, progressing, you've got to be around the right people, haven't you? Absolutely. Yeah. And I believe in myself more than anything now. I write goals down, I set them. But what I did, just like the bodybuilding comp, is I set the goal, and I never got started before because I thought it was too far away to do. But what I've learned to do is to chunk it backwards into smaller, attainable goals at each step of the process in order to get to the larger goal. So if we want to achieve X amount of dollars in sales, then we say, okay, why don't we just do this month? Why don't we do this target for this week and this target for this day and see what happens?
Yeah.
And then put some action in place to make that happen.
That's it, the next step.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's looking at the bigger picture and then working backwards, and then but taking action is the biggest thing.
That's it.
Yeah, if you don't know how to do it, then learn how to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's in the palm of our hands now.
Yeah, exactly. Action speaks much louder than words, doesn't it? And that's the thing, it's just taking that first step and just actually doing something, taking a step. What was I going to say? Something related to action. Anyway, forget about that. What I was going to ask you on the topic of fitness and nutrition real quick.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of the main objectives behind this is to educate people on health, fitness, nutrition.
Absolutely.
Because, as you said, like there's a lot of information there now for us to learn. We have no excuse not to learn and to benefit ourselves and expand our knowledge. Yeah, we have a walled plethora of knowledge there on our iPhone, right?
Absolutely.
But at the same time, we're also inundated with a lot of bullshit information, right?
100%.
And this is a bit of a problem because it's misleading people. We're facing an obesity epidemic, chronic illnesses are rising exponentially, like at an alarming rate. Just what you said then, it just kind of hit home. Like walking, I always try and inform people that it's the simple things done consistently which make the which speak the words. And from everything you were just saying then, consistency is really important, right? From what you were saying, I mean, that seems like you're consistent every day. You've got your routines, you're writing stuff down, you're training, you walk at 5 a.m, praying, consistently doing these things, and obviously it's benefiting you. But what tips would you give to the listeners? Because there's a lot of people out there and they're still scratching their heads a bit because they'll try this diet plan or this supplement or this 6 week shred or whatever, and a lot of people are chasing their tail. They can't seem to sustain it and create a healthy lifestyle. So do you have any fitness tips, like strength fitness related tips for people to get in shape, lose body fat,
Look, I still use a coach.
Okay.
I train with him every Wednesday morning. His name's Jake Butcher from J Train gym at Brookvale, which is behind our warehouse.
Okay.
So those guys are amazing. They're strength and conditioning coaches, absolute. And what they've taught me is the function of the body is all connected from your feet to your head. And by doing bodybuilding and traditional weight training, I'm now at an age where my body starts to fall apart. And I did injure myself a year ago.
Oh, right.
And what I learned was that it's the basic movements, it's not the heavy weight or how light the weight is or what type of activity it is. It's literally just following some form of physical exercise that you resonate with. So whether it's functional training, whether it's weight training, or whether it's body weight training, whatever it is that you do, you need to find someone in that space that you can model. So with my business, for instance, I look at mentors and people that have sort of led the way, and I try and learn from their mistakes. And I find people that are genuine and authentic. You'll find people that are genuine and authentic. The problem in this industry in fitness is that there are certain people out there that are taking sort of enhancing
supplements.
Supplements
that
that are then promoting themselves as
Exactly.
as the fitness guru. And they're selling an image across social media which isn't sustainable.
No.
But if you watch those people, they come undone somewhere along the line.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you watch those people in business, they come undone somewhere in the line. But you've got to go through that journey yourself. You have to. The main thing I can do is just to get started and just start where you can. And it's literally watching what you eat, watching what. It's just starting to. Whether you start with 5 kilograms or 50 kilograms in your weight training, it doesn't matter. But I couldn't recommend more than anything is getting a coach in some form of capacity. Every time I've made progress in life, it's to get some form of mentor or coach.
Definitely.
And there's reasonably priced ones out there. There's no excuse.
No, you can't put a price on your health, can you really?
The reason I started Muscle Republic was because I used to spend money at the bar every weekend on alcohol and partying and everything else. And if I could find money to spend it on that, then why couldn't I find money to spend it on food? And enjoy the culture of fitness and spending time with people, training rather than drinking with them, spending time with them, eating and learning to eat, sharing your experience with food and health and fitness, and watch how the positivity will come to your life. But you've got to find a coach.
Yeah.
You've got to find a coach, you've got to find a mentor.
Yeah.
And whether it's through an Instagram follower, a YouTube, there's so many of them out there, and find someone that resonates with you and is authentic and real. You may not find the right one the first time, but you will eventually.
Great. That's awesome, mate. Thanks a lot for that. I think I'll just have one more question, mate, and then we'll wrap it up, mate. Okay. You've dropped some serious knowledge bombs here, mate. It's great. Okay. So on that note, then I'll just ask you a question about because you were just saying then there's a lot of misleading information there. There's a lot of people out there taking performance enhancing drugs or whatever, and making out they're not or whatever, and then people get sucked in and they're kind of, they're like you said, these people don't normally come undone or whatever. So I find what I'm getting at, where I'm going with this is the fitness industry has lost a lot of integrity. So I find there's not a lot left in it now if you look at it on a grand scale. It's just, I guess the question is really, how do you manage to, obviously you have to take fitness models on board and you're a very authentic person. How do you manage to bring on, say, affiliates or kind of ambassadors? How do you select those? Because you work with some great people, and I've met some of the people you work with. You always seem to get a great team. How do you filter out the ones that you don't want involved and select the right ones?
I run with my gut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like our intuition is a lot stronger. Is actually telling us a lot more. It's actually not coming from your gut. It's actually in your brain.
Yeah.
I think our brain recognises who's real and who's not real, and sometimes we may not pick it up at first. But there's the one good thing I sort of learned about myself is that I'm good with people, and I recognise who's real and who's not real. Because I'm real with myself now. Yeah. I'm my hardest critic.
Yeah.
So what I find is that you have to pick up on people's energy, and if it's not that they're a bad person or wrong person for the brand. It's just that they may not sit well with what I expect. It's the way we look at influencers and affiliates is they've got to represent the same brand values and the same energy that we're putting out there. And they might be able to talk the talk, but are they actually walking the walk in line with those values on a consistent basis?
Yeah, that's what you mean.
And the benefit of social now is that we can see what they've done before and we can see what they've done after, or where they're heading with it. So, we take a lot of things into account. We work with a lot of different affiliates and influencers. And it's the way that they react. It's what it's the way that they communicate with us. But I've got a really good marketing coordinator, Jess Nugent, who works with me now, and she does a lot of that as well. And she's someone that sort of represents everything the brand's about. And she's a lot better at it than me, put it that way. So you've got to surround yourself with the right people. And that's a big thing for us when we're working with influencers. They've got to, because I think people can be the most draining part of any business, or even when you're on your fitness journey. If you're in the wrong gym or you're hanging around the wrong people, like in any part of your life,
that's it.
The work is easy if you're doing it with the right people.
Yeah.
I think just trusting yourself in every decision that you make. You may not make the right decision all the time, but 90% of the time, if you run with your gut, you're going to do it. So
great. And last thing now, do you have, if you could give me maybe your favourite podcast and maybe someone who you look up to and follow and take inspiration from, have you got any tips for the listeners?
So my favourite podcast is obviously Martin's.
Yeah, obviously Optimise Your Body.
Optimise Your Body.
Yeah, but that's all right, mate. Come on, you can give him another one. Second, please.
Well, the second one would have to be. I mean, he's gym at the moment, so I better stay tight and muscle and mind. Otherwise, he might not let me back in.
That's a good point.
No, my favourite podcast is the MFCEO by Andy Fazella. The reason for that is that he speaks a lot of truth around business and entrepreneurship. And there's a lot of noise out there, just as there is in the fitness industry. There's more noise in the entrepreneur and business industry now.
Definitely,
for people that are telling you that they've got the secret. And there really is no secret apart from, just like there is there is no secret in fitness. There is nothing else than instilling value in people and being real with them. And you can't replace the hard work.
No, you really can't.
Anything that you receive in life that comes easy will be taken away just as fast.
Yeah.
And that relates to fitness and it relates to business. So you've got to be able to do the work, trust your gut, run with it. And his podcasts have really carried me through a lot of hard times, and they've taught me a lot. But mainly what it is that he's instilling value through just being authentic in me. I instill value in my customers. Anything that you do, give out the energy that you want to give out. Instill value in, like, we don't just instill value in the clothes that we make, we instill value in our customer service, making sure in our social media, everything that we do, we make sure there's value in every part of our business, from the Instagram post to the stitching that goes into the fabric. And I feel like listening to the right podcast and following the right people is going to make the difference in where we end up. So.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for that, Vic. And you can find Vic and Muscle Republic over on Instagram. So Muscle Republic is just at Muscle Republic
Apparel.
Yep. At Muscle Republic Apparel, folks. Go check them out. They are killing it here in Australia, actually worldwide. And I just wanted to big up Muscle Republic as well before we cap this off. Love the kit. I actually wear it like on the weekends and stuff as well. It's just comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we see all your posts.
Yeah, you see all my posts, mate. Like, I don't like wearing anything else now, and I'm like, on the weekend I've got to really like make an effort to put some smart clothes on. Not saying they're not smart, but you're going on a night out or something.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I've got to show people I've got other clothes. You know what I mean?
Well, we've got a lot more coming, so you're going to be in trouble with that.
You got more, yeah, exactly. Because even the tightness fitness clothing is Muscle Republic, because it's the bee's knees. But yeah, guys, go check them out at Muscle Republic Apparel. And what's your Instagram as well?
My Instagram is Vic_MSCR.
Great. And if you could go over to iTunes and give me a rating and a review, be hugely appreciated. And thank you very much for tuning in, guys. And Vic, I really appreciate your time once
Martin,
again, mate.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy.
Awesome.